Late last year, I got this email that asked me if I was interested in trying out a new game. It was called Tchia. And I hadn't really heard of it before, but I like trying new games. So I thought, yeah, I'll give that a go. And I looked a little bit into what this game Tchia is, and it's by a developer called Awacheb, which I've never heard of. And all that I could really tell from it is that this game was about a girl, and it's based on an island that looks a little bit like New Caledonia, or it's based on New Caledonia. And I thought that's pretty interesting. And so I've actually got a chance to play it, and I am blown away. So let's go into a little bit about what Tchia is and why this is not only heartwarming, but there is so much charisma in here. There's a lot of soul in it, and it's really looking like it could be one stunning game. So Tchia is a young lady, and her father's been kidnapped by an evil ruler called Miavora. We don't actually see any of that in the bit that I've been playing along. Basically, at the start of this game, some lady tells me that I need to get her some crabs if I want to help, and beyond that, it's kind of like, off you go, work it out, explore the island. Speaking of the island, it is huge. I was completely blown away by the scope of this. I'm used to playing indie games that have some real linear-based exploration where you might go out on a journey for a little bit, but really you're kind of like going along the right path. But this game is open, and the map is really non-precise. You can open the map and you can ask it to tell where you are, and it'll be like, yeah, you're somewhere in here, so work it out. So utilizing your compass is really important. And for the first 15 minutes, I was just kind of like running around. And whilst I was completely lost, it wasn't a bad thing because I just kept running into things, different places that I could play mini game, or different people that I could walk by and just see what they were doing. There were people fishing, there were people doing all sorts of things. I was looking for crabs, but I think realistically, I was just getting a feel for how this world works. You can pretty much climb everything. You can jump and get out of cloth and float around, and as long as you've got the stamina points and don't run out of them, you're good to go. Now, traveling long distances can be a bit of a pain, but luckily you have this ability called the Souljump. Now, Souljump lets you basically take over anything, and pretty much anything. I don't think it works on trees, but it did work on like a crab box, and also works on animals. So you can take over like deers or pigs and just like run a lot faster. So that's really, really helpful to utilize. And you can also like take over lanterns and then set yourself on fire and blow up bad guys. So the Souljump's definitely going to be an interesting element of Tchia, and I'm really curious to see how you get access to that in the introduction of the game, which is skipped on this playthrough. The characters and storyline that we see are really heartwarming. You can tell this is a passion piece, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's a lot of characters in this that are based on real people that the developers and story writers have met along the way. It goes beyond that usual stereotypes, and we have like characters that are singing and dancing together. It's really fun. I'm looking forward to exploring the world more, and from what the developers have said, this is only like one part of the island. There is other islands that you're going to explore in the full release game, so that's really interesting. Last thing that I'm going to talk about are the mini games. So as you're running around, you would just run randomly into these events that let you play these mini games. You have like a Zelda style shooting activity, you have boat races, there are all these ukulele songs that you can play along, and it becomes like a mini rhythm game. It is really cool, it is really fun. The developers have thought this one through. The world is beautiful, the music is fantastic. I'm blown away by Tchia. As I said earlier, this is not a game that I even really had on my radar leading into this year, but it's probably one of my most anticipated games now. If a full-length game is anywhere as fun as this playtest, I can tell you that it's going to be like a 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 style game. If you like slower paced, wholesome games with a whole lot of exploration and some really kick-ass storylines. Let me know what you think about Tchia. I'm going to be following along on Twitter and all sorts of things to make sure that I'm up to date with this. I believe it releases some point in 2023, maybe the first half of the year.